In this video, I'm going to share with you the story of a police officer who was brutally killed by a gang of thugs and abandoned in the wilderness. As his best friend, he decided to use his own way to make the thug return his teeth and eyes. So he led a few colleagues to find one of the thugs. In a friendly exchange, he asked the thug's old man. At night, the four of them were preparing to guide Wong Long after solving a thug who was guarding the door. They successfully sneaked into the thug's room and successfully locked the thug's room. But when they were about to launch an attack, the security guard at the end of the building was carrying a spray and was going to do it with him. Unknowingly, it was because of what he did that the thug inside immediately counterattacked. The thug was hit on the spot and was blinded. The bomb on the door was detonated and another police officer was injured. Then a thug came out of it. Without further ado, he fired and killed the most dangerous thug. Because of this old man, a few people were arrested before they had time to take revenge. The old man in charge immediately questioned why they were here. But their mouths were very hard and refused to explain anything. The young man thought they were here to rescue the hostages, so he decided to take the hostages away. Faced with these murderous thugs, Away had no choice but to tell the truth. He learned that a few people came to revenge for their colleagues. The cruel old man decided to get rid of them to avoid future trouble. He said that no one would want to leave here alive today, because at this time an unknown disease suddenly broke out in the city. A large number of dead bodies were rushing to the end of the building. The old man just finished solving the big problem. There was a loud noise in the room where the hostages were held. It was accompanied by a terrible hissing. Everyone was scared to death. The old man went to check it out. Unexpectedly, when he opened the door, a big hand suddenly came out and grabbed his neck. Then he bit it off. Obviously, this hostage had become a corpse. The thugs pulled the trigger as soon as they saw it, but the bullet hit him and there was no pain at all. The corpse was still alive and began to attack a few people. One of the hostages was thrown to the ground. The two accomplices hurried up and kicked him. This obviously didn't work. Until the old man hit his head with a stick, the corpse stopped attacking. Everyone was stunned. The hostages had just been beaten to death by Xiaohei, but they didn't figure out what was going on. There was a loud noise in the corridor. A young man just went out to check it out and was dragged away by the corpse. What's more terrible is that the two young men who had just been bitten had also mutated. Everyone was in a huge panic. They couldn't take care of each other at all and began to escape. The old man who was walking behind them still couldn't stop the attack of the corpse. Only a few people were forced to escape to the rooftop and temporarily block the corpse inside. Xiaohei, who had just killed people, was scared to death at this time. But when they looked far away, they were stunned by the scene in front of them. All they could see was a city full of fire and smoke. There was a scene of the end of the world, and a large number of corpses had gathered downstairs. They were completely trapped in the corridor. In order to escape from here alive, the evil bandit and the police who represented justice had to put down their grudges for the time being and unite to fight against the corpse. Obviously, this is the only way to survive. Away and Lao Hei discussed and decided to go to Gang Gang's room to get the weapon first. Then they tried to kill Chung Weia. Fortunately, there was no trace of the corpse in the corridor at this time. Even the large number of people who had just been killed disappeared. After equipping their weapons, a group of people began to retreat downstairs. It was scary and quiet in the dark corridor. When they passed by a room, there seemed to be a corpse in it. Jin, who was walking behind them, and Jingwan, who was injured, dared not move. Suddenly, a corpse rushed out and rushed toward Jingwan. It disappeared from sight soon after. Zin followed up immediately. Then two corpses attacked another group of people. After the bandit Kun didn't have time to hide behind the door, he was entangled by the corpse. The weapon in his hand accidentally dropped. He could only fight the corpse. Although the corpse was knocked down with a big fist, more corpses were approaching. He had to hide behind the door quickly. Who knew that as soon as he stepped in, the corpse on the ground bit his thigh. Seeing that the corpse was dead, Lao Hei decided to break the window and stab the corpse with a spray. Then he locked the door tightly. Zin also found the corpse who took Zhengwan away. One person and one corpse were fighting in the kitchen. Obviously, Zin's fist was harder. The corpse was quickly knocked to the ground. Zin followed up with victory. He picked up a tool and made a crazy shot. Then he used the refrigerator to put the corpse under the rain. Unfortunately, Zhengwan was bitten. Zin knew the ending of being bitten, so he took out a pair of handcuffs and locked himself up. Unexpectedly, the teammate who was afraid of death didn't recognize him. He also picked up a tool and knocked Zin out, and the other people were about to go downstairs. But suddenly they saw a figure in the corridor who was slaughtering the corpse. He walked in and saw that it was an old man. He knew at a glance that it was a werewolf. He saw that Kun was bitten by the corpse at a glance, so the old man took them back to his room. He was going to treat Kun's wound. Because its thigh was infected, he needed to cut it to save his life. But Kun didn't believe it. He said he didn't want to lose a leg. The old man had to respect his choice. In the TV, they saw the news that the whole city had fallen, and the military had evacuated to the surrounding military base. They built a safe zone there and received all the survivors. When they heard this news, Wei decided to kill the werewolves and go to the safe zone. But Zin wanted to guard the werewolf house and didn't want to go out to take risks. He said that whoever dared to go out would be killed. Zin pushed Zin to the ground with a fist. Obviously, he was on Wei's side. This move also aroused Zin's disappointment. They were ready to set off as planned. But as soon as they left the room, a dead body appeared in the corridor. Zin broke the dead body's leg with a shot. He didn't kill the dead body immediately, but played tricks with Kun. The old man was so perverted that he chose to join in. In the three old men's room, the old man who couldn't stand it sent the dead body away with a shot. He also slapped Zin on the wall. Do you remember what you just did? I haven't finished yet, but I forgot. What? After teaching Zin, Zin started to knock on the door. At this time, Xiaohei was stunned. Kun, who didn't mind the situation, came up to provoke him. This time, the door next to him suddenly opened. It turned out to be a police officer who was bitten.
Il était pas mort! C'est toi qui viens de nous foutre une balle dans la tête!
Vous allez venir comme moi. Je fais partie de la famille.
Wei went up to check on him. Unexpectedly, Zin came with him and shot him. Wei, who didn't know why, pushed Zin on the wall and started to scream. He wasn't dead. It was you who put a bullet in his head. I haven't finished yet. After learning the truth, Wei finally let go of his hand. Then they jumped out of the elevator and walked in. But Wei, who followed them, just jumped down. He was shot in the back of the head by Xiaohei with a pistol. Under Kun's coercion, Xiaohei decided to fight with his brother. He even took their weapons. No matter how hard Laohei persuaded him, Xiaohei didn't listen and mercilessly drove them out of the elevator. The dead man's screams were getting closer and closer. The guards could only continue to run downstairs. But when they came to the first floor, they were stunned by the scene in front of them. The door was full of dead bodies. It's hard to see through the steel door, but luckily there were all kinds of weapons in the next room. They all chose their favorite weapons. Zin aimed the gun at Laohei. It seems that he hasn't forgotten the purpose of coming here. Fortunately, Wei stopped him in time. After all, one more person means one more power. But they just walked out of there with weapons. The dead man rushed through the glass door. Several people rushed to the basement. Zin tried to stop the dead man, but there were too many of them. They managed to escape to the basement, but the dead man blocked the door. The three tried their best to resist the attack of the dead man. But at this time, Laohei found Xiaohei's backpack. Laohei followed the backpack to find it, but he saw Kun, who was mutated. He was devouring his own Oldu. If it weren't for him, Xiaohei wouldn't have died. Angry Laohei avoided the deadly poison. He was crazy about Kun. Then he grabbed him and kept hitting him on the wall, until the other party's head was smashed to pieces. Although Laohei was a brutal bandit, he was very good to his brother. At this time, the people who were blocking the door finally closed the door, but the price was that Wei was bitten to the palm. However, when they were about to continue running, they suddenly heard the sound of footsteps coming from a distance. A lot of dead people were coming. In order to cover others from escaping, Wei, who was bitten, stood up. Obviously, he already knew his ending. Go to hell. As soon as the three of them left, the dead came rushing in. But at this moment, Wei was already dead. His eyes were firmly focused on the dead. He ran straight all the way. Finally, he got on a small car. The dead soon surrounded Wei. Wei shouted angrily, "No, you have to kill me." Then he held his gun and shot the dead madly. After the bullet was fired, he pulled out the knife of his waist sword. Until he ran out of his last strength, Wei finally couldn't help but be drowned by the dead.
Thank you so much for watching till the end. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. It really helps the channel reach more amazing people like you. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. And I'd truly love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments below. I always enjoy reading your feedback. Your support means a lot, and it's what keeps this channel going strong.